From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News on this Thursday. I'm Andrea Lutz. At this hour, colder temperatures and even some snowfall making its way to Montana as we are about to see some major changes in our Montana weather. Meteorologist Miller Robson is obviously tracking all of those watches and warnings for us, and wow, it's going to change, isn't it?
And there is a lot to talk about. We're going to do that with the main forecast. Let's show you some temperatures out there right now. Just basically we're in the 20s and 30s at the moment, but like Andrea said, it is the calm before the storm. We are seeing some snow in Missoula, especially in the higher elevations east and southeast of Billings. We're seeing rain and a wintry mix. What we've got going on is the coldest air of this winter season so far, and quite frankly, it's been milder than normal. Not a whole lot of snowfall. All that changes as we get into the weekend. And again, there's a lot of ground to cover with these watches and these warnings and these advisories. I've got the full slate coming up with the main forecast coming up, so don't go anywhere. Andrea.
Well, authorities say a woman from California has died of hypothermia after her body was found along the shore of Flathead Lake in Polson. 34-year-old Lee Martin was found Tuesday. Sheriff Bell says it appears Martin passed away from hypothermia. Her body was taken to the state crime lab for an autopsy. After a nearly 40-hour standoff at a Livingston trailer park, authorities have finally got their suspect in custody. It happened late last night, though. 49-year-old Michael Marfuta injured by deputies after opening fire. He was arrested on charges of assault with a weapon and obstructing a peace officer. Marfuta was taken to the hospital for his injuries. The Park County Sheriff says he'll make his initial court appearance when his medical condition allows. The standoff started Tuesday afternoon when deputies attempted to serve him a court-ordered eviction. A Butte man faces charges after an arson fire. 60-year-old Roy Edward Smith is charged with felony arson in connection with a fire at the Mueller apartment building on West Granite Street. He's accused of intentionally putting paper and other items in an oven, turning it on. All of this happening on Monday evening, and firefighters saw heavy smoke coming from this building, forcing those evacuations. The man had to be rescued even from the 4th floor after being overcome by smoke.
Very heroic actions that they took. They put their own lives at risk to enter that building, not knowing what they were going to run into, not knowing what kind of fire it was, not knowing what the disturbance took place, what was going on with the disturbance. They decided to enter the building to save lives, and that's what they did.
All right, and those officers were treated for smoke inhalation. In Idaho, 3 National Guard members are dead after a Black Hawk helicopter crashed during a training near Boise. All 3 were seasoned pilots participating in a routine training operation. The Army National Guard members were returning from that training exercise when the helicopter crashed in snowy and foggy conditions near mountains. Officials say it is a tremendous loss for the Idaho Guard community, and the crash is still under the investigation, but weather does seem to be an issue. Senator Jon Tester says veterans need more COVID-19 vaccines as soon as possible. Montana's senior senator and chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee had a meeting with President Joe Biden about his stimulus plan. Tester says he's not happy with how slowly the process to get vets immunized is going, fears it isn't done and it could lose some faith in the VA. The senator also saying his committee will begin full oversight into the COVID vaccine situation in the coming days.
How much we're getting now is unacceptable. And when I hear veterans say, well, I've given up on the VA, I'm going to go to the local health department to get my vaccine, that's unacceptable. And so we need to step it up.
And Tester is hopeful with Dennis McDonough as the confirmed would-be VA secretary. He says that at least he'll have someone to do some work with and work on these issues. His confirmation hearing is scheduled for Monday. Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney survived a vote by House Republicans to hold on to her leadership position. She's one of a handful of Republicans to cross party lines and vote to impeach President Trump for his alleged role in the Capitol riots. Montana Representative Matt Rosendale engaged in a fiery conversation with Cheney, defending Trump. And after that vote, she said it's time for Republicans to go forward together. After several serious crashes, advocates are now urging Montana lawmakers to make some changes to the state's road safety laws. We're talking about House Bill 267, which would make a number of changes to school bus laws, including prohibiting drivers from passing a bus on the right and requiring buses to include an extended stop arm if children are crossing the road. The bill's sponsor says the effort grew after 6-year-old Jordana Hubble was hit and severely injured while getting off of a bus near Whitefish. Then a man was also killed when he crashed into the back of a stopped school bus, also in the Flathead Valley. Missoula County and the University of Montana are holding a public vaccination clinic. It's happening this weekend and registration is open today. The clinic will be placed from 7 a.m. until 1. It's on Sunday, February 7th, all taking place at the Adams Center. 800 first dose vaccine appointments will be available for those in phase 1B. And to make an appointment, you can call or you can visit that link that you see right there on your screen. Blackfeet Community College is starting a new class in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The first online course will teach people about the Blackfeet tribe's language and will split into 2 6-week sessions. It is being funded by a grant, and the college decided to start the class this month because of so many losses on the reservation due to COVID-19 and tribal elders being at risk. President Biden's COVID-19 plan is moving forward, and Democrats in the House and Senate have taken procedural steps needed to pass a nearly $2 trillion relief bill without any Republican votes. Still, President Biden remains confident Republicans will back his plan. Senator Mitt Romney says it won't get a single GOP vote, though, if the price doesn't change. The president says he's willing to narrow the group of Americans receiving a stimulus check, but does not want to lower the amount of $1,400. And face masks are now required in U.S. national parks. This is, of course, when visitors can't maintain physical distance. The new policy also requires wearing a mask on narrow or busy trails, overlooks, and some historic homes. Park rangers may issue citations for anyone in violation. And this, of course, includes our national parks, Glacier and Yellowstone. 50 dogs from a meat market in China are ready to make their trek to Canada and a rescue facility. It's going to happen today. They were flown into Los Angeles and driven to the Canadian border to cross into Canada, but when they got there, there was no vet available to check them out. The organization is transporting the dogs, and they asked Happy Trails in Great Falls to take them in.
Watching them learn to play has just been fun, and of course, they'd been fed light, I think, on the journey over here, so they were ravenous when they got here. But they've settled in now, and they're fun. We're getting awfully attached. This is going to be hard to ship them out.
The dogs were only supposed to be there for the weekend, but then, of course, knowing Montana, bad weather came and it delayed them getting into Canada, but they should be there by today. We do have more news ahead on the Noon News. We're all looking forward to the Super Bowl, of course, in some capacity, but perhaps the best part is sampling all of the food, so we're checking in on some of those yummy favorites ahead of the game. But first, Miller is back in with a look at all of those changes that are set to happen in the forecast.